really been popping my shit on a whole nother level. You playing, get sent to the devil. These bitches been on me, I swear they keep calling my phone. I'm like, hold on, let me check the schedule. If she get time of day.
Guys, we got a pair of Mustangs pulling up here. .780 in the right lane, 751 left lane.
Cody Rogers left side of the racetrack here in the Mustang. Lund Racing RPG racing engines powered by the Outperformance, Blue Streak Performance, and LR Systems going to be on board there for that left lane machine, as it looks like Eric's going to get pushed off and going to have to go sell some more only fan feed picks.
Lanes 3 and 4, pull forward, keep it tight. 3 and 4, pull forward, keep it tight.
Right now, Cody Rogers not in the field. Hasn't made a full pull, hasn't made a run yet. Nothing on the sheet at least. And Eric Gold's sitting number 2 right now. So this isn't that big of a deal, him getting pushed off. Go back, look at the car, figure out what's going on with it. Get ready to go for Q3. They've been riding the bus of struggle right now. Big old wheel stand there for Rogers, and he'll set it down out there. That thing came down so hard, it looks like popped the hood off the car. So checking the replay here on Flow. Watch Rogers here. I think he's gonna leave. And it's gonna come right up, go to the left, come down, pop the hood off. Driving away from the wall there. I think went straight left too. We'll move up one spot to the number 14 position with her career best 67.7 on the quarter mile at 177. So still more left to go for Brandy, but right now she sits okay in the field, but not comfortably, as we continue to see how the rest of these cars will fall on the qualifying sheet. Cody Rogers' right side is a man that is not in the field right now. This car is more than capable of being a front runner in the category, so keep an eye on Rogers here on the tower side. Sean Finn to the left, he's locked in. 738 with a 1, number 6 on the qualified field with that 69 Chevrolet Corvette out of Brooklyn, New York. So keep an eye on the black and blue Mustang here on the Napa side. Cody Rogers, one more shot to try to make the field here for Wild Street. So Finn into the pre-stage lights. Cody Rogers will join. Sean wasting no time going straight in. Rogers does the same. There goes the Finn machine. Rogers taking his time, gets it in a roll. Top end for Finn. Gonna be a 7:23.4. Good improvement for that machine. Rogers smoking down the racetrack. 7:40 with a 1. He's gonna be in the field at a $1.82. So Sean Finn will move up to the number 2 spot directly behind Costantino. These guys aren't playing around anymore. Cody Rogers will move himself up to the number 8 position here.
Sube a la segunda posición el Corvette. Óyeme, abajo de Constantino con 7:23 mejorando. Óyeme.
What's up, everyone? Thanks for coming back, checking out the channel, checking out the video, tagging along up until this point. It's been a little bit dry, but one of my New Year's resolutions to upload more content for you guys, even if it's a quick 20-minute video in the shop to show you what we got going on. So we're here, 2026. We got some changes that are going down. We got a lot of work to do. So you've seen the thumbnail, you've seen we're going to be cutting this thing up. I'm sure you're wondering what we're cutting and why we're cutting. So let me show you what we got over here and what we got going on. So after World Cup, we pulled the motor, we pulled the trans, and we're going to make some changes to both. For the engine side of things, we're going to go with a dry sump oiling system this time around. I'm not too knowledgeable, I'm learning on it as well, but what I do know is you need a pretty large tank to hold 8, 9, 10 quarts, whatever it may need to hold, for the oiling system of the engine, and we didn't have any room for that. Stock engine bay, stock frame rail, stock core support, everything in its factory location, I barely had room to remote mount an oil filter. So that now snowballed into, if we need to have a dry sump tank, we got to do a tube front. It's been on the list for a while now of me wanting to do it. I've just never really had the need to do it like I do now. So we went ahead and called Blain Brothers. We ordered the Blain Brothers tube front kit. They were very easy to deal with. We were able to get it out to me pretty quickly. Everything showed up as it should. And you're going to see more of this in an in-depth view, you know, once we start tacking it up and getting it on the car. But this is the Blain Brothers kit. There is a few different kits that they make for this style car. Most common is Barn Built, Blain Brothers, and a few others, and some guys even do it themselves. But this is already bent, notched, you know, set up for you. It has the mounting brackets and everything for factory PCM, factory fuse box, factory radiator. They included some extra mounts for my hood pins that I'm going to need to do. It seems like a pretty cut and dry kit to install. Even got hardware and everything. So we're going to be putting this on to be able to find a location to mount that dry sump tank, and then from that point on it kind of snowballed into what else can we do at the same time that we're doing this tube front. We're going to have to make some brackets, and you know, we got the clear view oil filter, we got a fuel pressure regulator. We do have some stuff that is going to need some additional add-ons to this tube front kit, but the gist of it is you pretty much cut in front of the strut towers right here, and then from this point on is all tubular bars. So you cut from the frame rail all the way up to, you know, the top fender mounting location. It is a straight cut right here, right down the middle from this point on. So this is going to have to be moved. The clear view oil filter is going to have to be moved. You got to make new mounting locations for the intercooler, your hood pins. You got to cut this section out and give your bumper support back. You got to weld tabs for the headlights. and then you gotta use their bracketry to do the PCM, fuse box, and everything else. But the concept of it is now you have a small 1 5/8" or whatever it is tube. Here, you have none of this, and it gives you so much more room to mount things. Those people do it and do custom turbo kits. You know, for weight, I believe it saves 80 pounds, so you're getting 80 pounds off the nose. And there's a lot of bonuses to it, other than what I'm doing it for. So overall, it's a positive thing for this car, and I think it's a good thing that we're finally doing after racing this thing for the years that we've been racing it. So that's the plan. My plan is I'm doing all the cutting. I'm going to do the fitting. I'm going to be tacking it up. I've got a little TikTok welder. It's less than $100, and we're just going to tack everything up, and then we're going to take it somewhere and have it final welded by a professional that welds a lot better than me. So that's the plan. Cut, fit, tack here, and then send it off to get it finish welded. Now, what that has also snowballed into, I'll show you over here, is we have a mock-up engine that a friend gave me. It is a stock, head, stock block rebuilt, kind of refab setup. But we're going to sit this in the car, and we're going to go motor plate, mid plate. So if you guys aren't familiar with motor plate, mid plates, it takes out the factory motor mounts, and you put a plate here across the back that's designed for a Coyote that goes around the bell, and then you weld tabs on your frame rail, and that is your back mounting location for your block. And then on the front side, the Belak Pro Shop that we ordered uses the factory timing cover. You put this on the front. It's got a passenger side plate, a driver's side plate, which would mount here and here, and then they would go over to what is going to be the new tube front. And that would be your front mounting location. So on a Coyote, the factory brackets are on the sides. We keep bending them. I've bent like 4 sets of them by now. I don't think the BMR design is a bad design. I think that maybe for sub 1500 horsepower cars, the BMR setup probably does just fine. But with this car wheeling a lot, coming down hard, we're leaning on it hard on the starting line, I think this motor's just moving too much, and we bent 4 sets of them now. So since the tube front is getting done, we figure what better time, if we're going to be up front cutting and welding, why not finally do mid plate, motor plate. And then I also bought the travel limiters that go from the side of the block over to the frame rail, and that just keeps it more rigid as well. So all of that stuff's ordered from Belak Pro Shop, black anodized up front. It's got the alternator provision. Looks like a really nice setup. I bought that. It should be on the way here soon. But either way, the tube front has to be done first. So tube front first, and then we'll start messing with the motor plate, mid plate. But luckily, I was able to borrow this from someone because I don't have an engine right now, and you need an engine to mock up all of these things. Not to mention, I have a bottom mount kit, so I needed an engine with heads on it to where I can put my turbo manifolds back on and make sure that they clear that plate that's going to be running across the back. So this was a perfect thing for someone to let me borrow while I have no engine and get everything fitted up. I may still need a transmission to hang on the back of here because it may need that weight to proportion and sit properly. So if you guys have a 6R80 transmission that you don't need or don't want, I need the cheapest possible. It can be broken, cracked, trashed. It could have nothing inside of it, whatever the case may be. I just need something to hang on the back of here. It can't be two-wheel drive. I mean, it can't be four-wheel drive, and it can't be a V6. I may have my trans back by the time we get to that point, so we'll see how that plays out. But that's the plan for the motor plate, mid plate. That's the plan for the tube front. And then also, too, over here, we have dual chutes now going on the car. So at the end of World Cup last year, I'm not sure if the tie got caught around going down the track and then I deployed the chute, and it was wrapped around this bar, and it came out, but this bent down. It bent the backing plate of the bag. It bent this all up. So this chute setup's no longer good. I wouldn't even want to fix it and go back to this, just because it's already been cut and welded once due to the drag wing. We cut this and chopped it down some, and then now it's bent again. So I kind of came up with my own little setup, my own little dual chute setup, since no one really makes any for the S550s as far as like a kit to sell for someone to do themselves. So I got some new square tube coming. We're going to do a fresh piece of square tube from the bumper support out. That way I can cut it whatever length I need to clear the drag wing. And then we have the Hammer Concepts and Designs bottom mounting with the push bar setup in between. So this is the angled dual chute setup for the bottom. Then we have a middle bar that we're going to put on the new square tube, angle it, whatever we need to do to get this right. We'll probably do some supports to kind of prevent this from happening in the future. And then we have the dual head here that's going to mount to this, and then we'll be able to do some gussets or whatever here, some supports here too. So the concept would be like this, with this down the bottom and a new tube going in the back. Then I will have to get a new plate made. I already have one here. So these two chutes, I did buy a new chute before World Cup because the other one was such in bad shape from using it and deploying it for 4 years. These chutes are two singles, so they cannot be deployed together at the same time. They're too big. But I'm not at the 200 mile an hour mark yet that you need to deploy two chutes, but I also don't want to drive around with one filled and one not, kind of look a little bit goofy. So I probably will put both of these on, pack them both and set them up like they need to be, get two cables, get the right handle, do everything I need to do. I'll just never deploy them both at the same time because they're too large. Once we hit 200 and we see the need to start deploying both, then I will sell both of these singles, get the two smaller duals that can come out together, and we'll be good there. But at least the setup will be done, fabricated, everything will be done. And also too, if I'm in a pinch and I'm kind of hot lapping this thing and I deploy one and I don't have enough time to repack it, I could simply just pull it off the car, leave the other one on, and deploy that one the next pass. And it can kind of dual purpose at that point. So we got a lot of welding to do. With the tube front, with the motor plate, mid plate, with the chute setup. That's why this thing is going to get semi-done here and then go somewhere else and get all final welded. Another change that we're going to do is we're going to add 5 sensors. So I talked to Sebastian at AMS. Obviously we have an AMS 2000 in the car for boost control. We're able to monitor 5 sensors and get some data from them, which we haven't had up until this point. So I want to add coolant pressure, back pressure, crankcase pressure, maybe oil pressure, and then maybe like post or pre-intercooler intake air temperature. So I got some bungs here, and we're gonna weld crankcase pressure in the valve cover. We're gonna weld coolant pressure in the coolant tank. We're gonna get some bungs welded in the manifold, maybe some bungs in the pipe. So I just got a bunch of random 1/8 inch MPT stainless and aluminum bungs that we're gonna weld. My welder Mike's gonna have a good bit to do once we take this car to him and need him to kind of finalize everything. Now for the timeline, I'm hoping that I can fit and do everything I can here to the most that I can do, and then it wants to go to welding, and then I want it to go straight from welding straight to paint. So with a lot of raw bars up on the front end, maybe most guys do spray paint black or wrinkle or something, for stuff that they're adding, but I want the engine bay to be resprayed factory Ford lightning blue. So once we get the engine bay completely done, welded, I want to take it to a body shop who's done work for me in the past. They did the front bumper, they did the hood, they did the back bumper. He's done a lot of work for me, and he always does great work. So I want him to paint the engine bay back to the factory color. So the timeline would be from here straight to welding, welding straight to the body shop, and then from the body shop back here for final assembly. Hopefully by that time, engine's here, transmission's here, and we're ready to start putting it together. You gotta think 10 steps ahead, because once it's painted, you don't want to scuff it and start welding to it again. So we need to make sure that all the mounting points are there, everything's mounted where we want it, all the tabs. Even if we add extra tabs or whatever the case may be, I do not want to get this thing back from paint and realize that we forgot to weld something on this car and I'm scuffing up the paint to re-weld it. So I need to really think 10 steps ahead and make sure that when I'm cutting and tacking and it goes to Mike for final welding, that we have everything where it needs to be. I think this tube front will now give us the ability to, down the road, finally do a custom turbo kit like we've been needing to do and wanting to do. So in the past year, I became friends and followed Jay, like I'm sure a lot of you guys have done or do currently. Jay Velocity down there in Georgia. You know, that guy on TikTok whips up some stuff with his fabrication and welding skills. So he has made me realize that if you got the room and you got a welder and you got a vision, you can pretty much make these cars into whatever you want to do. Now that we're going to have the room, I may not have the welder, but I'll have the vision. And then maybe I take this car down there and hang out with them guys for a weekend, and Jay whips me up a forward-facing turbo kit. I think that we have outlived and outgrown that bottom mount kit. At this point, it's just inefficient, temp-wise, room and availability. It's just, that kit was designed by Aldo to be a street car kit, a bolt on and go, which is what this car originally was. And we've made some changes and we made some tweaks, and it's got us to 720s and 195. But I think if we can do some 1 7/8 forward-facing headers with some nice merges, some nice wastegate placement, and some nice turbos in the front end with some fresh air to them, I think this car will be a lot happier. So down the road, of course, now with the tube front, I think that we'll eventually do a forward-facing bumper, probably fog light mounted turbo kit down the road. I think that covers everything. We got a lot of work to do, a lot of disassembling before we start cutting to ensure that A, we know where everything's at, we know where everything's going, we know where everything was, and we don't mess anything up and set us further back by, not doing something that we should have been doing. If you can look down here too, you'll see this is where we're bending the factory motor mount brackets on both sides. They're starting to bow and bend. Do I think that that would be a long-term problem or anything would happen? No, but I mean, they sure as hell aren't as square and, in the location that they were from BMR. So that's why we're going to do motor plate, mid plate, weld the tabs here for the tube to the tubes, weld the tabs in the back for the back plate, and then that's the factory, that's the factory motor mounts gone, and that's the new engine mounting location. Not sure if we're going to do away with the battery in the factory location yet. All this stuff's going to come out. We're also going to do manual brakes. I have a manual brake kit that I've been holding on to a while, and I haven't wanted to do, but I think now's the time to do it. So we might get into deleting all the ABS and doing manual brakes, get rid of the factory booster and stuff like that. So the next video will 100% be the front end cut off of this car, all this stuff disassembled, and us starting to tack and fit up some stuff. I do not want this car to have any weird gaps, the headlights not sit right. I want this thing to fit just like it was from the factory. So I'm definitely going to take my time on making sure that everything is lined up properly with this tube front. I mean, it really is going to throw off the whole front end of this car. So we need to make sure it's right. But like, subscribe, share, Follow me on TikTok, Instagram. I've been posting some shorts and doing some, some other things. I made the Instagram public now, so you guys can all follow me and tag along. Obviously Instagram's a little bit quicker of a way for me to post quick updates. So if you don't follow me on there, definitely follow me on there. And I'm hoping once we get back to racing and we're back at the track, I have found someone remotely willing to edit the videos, do some music and some stuff like that. So once we get him the footage that he wants to make the content that I want, I think that the videos will be a lot cooler rather than me just sitting here talking or going over some stuff. But I will do a time lapse of me disassembling and add that to the next video. So again, guys, thanks for tagging along, and I think we're going to have a good 2026. Hopefully we finally get that 6-second 200-mile-an-hour pass that we've been looking for. We've been close, but we just had some unforeseen issues that just keep popping up. We fought the trans really hard last year. We had the trans out of this thing. We had the trans out of this car probably 5 times last year. The engine, we'll see how that's going to play out. But that's a key factor, is having a reliable, strong engine program that you worry about other things and the engine does its job. So we'll see what plays out there. But I think 2026 is going to be a good year. So see you on the next one.
I don't count the plays, make the plays count. I don't count the days, make the days count. I don't count the bands, make the bands count. I don't count the haters, make the haters count. Came from the bottom, I appreciate everything. Came from the bottom, I appreciate everything. Came from the bottom, I appreciate everything. Going big dog status. Going big dog status. G-spot, jackpot. G-spot, jackpot. Treat her cause she look pretty when she happy. Treat her cause she look pretty when she happy. I treat her cause she look pretty when she happy. I came from nothing, came from the woo scale. Fuck bitch lied on me, tell him I'm the truth now. You deserve the word, baby, just not for me. I ain't got a curve, baby, I just let him free. Appreciate the game, appreciate the bait, appreciate the pain, appreciate the hate. Now back to the love, back to the flood, back to the wall, literally the plug. Price to be the boss, if you fall then you fall.